Life is crazy, right? Up, down, sideways, loop the loop. Sometimes you just need a good laugh. Those moments that make your cheeks hurt and your eyes water, those are the best. So buckle up. We're about to take a trip down memory lane, revisiting some seriously hilarious moments. Get ready to smile, because laughter, it's the best medicine. And trust me, we could all use a dose of that. Okay, picture this. My cat, Princess Fluffy Butt. Don't judge, she lets me live here. She's obsessed with birds. Chirping outside, she's glued to the window. Every morning, like clockwork, she positions herself on the windowsill, her eyes wide and her tail twitching with excitement. It's as if she's watching her favorite TV show, completely engrossed in the avian drama unfolding outside. Feathery toy on a string, she's a hunter on the prowl. The moment I dangle that toy, she transforms into a fierce predator, her movements calculated and precise. She crouches low, her eyes narrowing as she prepares to pounce. It's a sight to behold, really, this tiny domestic cat channeling her inner lioness. One day, I'm folding laundry. Suddenly, a huge crash. It sounded like the entire house was coming down. My heart skipped a beat as I dropped the shirt I was holding and rushed towards the source of the noise, like an avalanche of plastic tubs and fuzzy socks. The hallway was a disaster zone, with clothes scattered everywhere and the laundry basket overturned. It was as if a mini tornado had swept through. I raced to the bedroom. My mind was racing with all sorts of scenarios, each more dramatic than the last. Was it a burglar? Did something break? The suspense was killing me. There's Princess Fluffy Butt, perched on top of the dresser, wearing a laundry basket. She looked utterly bewildered, her eyes wide with confusion and a hint of embarrassment. It was clear she had no idea how she ended up in this predicament. Apparently, she'd tried to leap onto the dresser, misjudged the landing, and become one with the laundry. Her grand leap had turned into a clumsy tumble, and now she was stuck, her little paws poking out from under the basket. I laughed so hard I almost forgot to rescue her. Almost. It was one of those moments that was so absurd you couldn't help but laugh. But of course, I couldn't leave her like that. I carefully lifted the basket off her, and she shook herself off, her dignity slightly bruised, but otherwise unharmed. She gave me a look that seemed to say, "Let's never speak of this again," and then strutted off as if nothing had happened. Life with Princess Fluffy Butt is never dull, that's for sure. We've all been there, the grocery store, land of the overripe bananas and screaming children. But sometimes, the grocery store transforms into a comedy club. I'm talking about the time I witnessed a full-on slip and slide in the produce aisle, a rogue grape, a wet floor, and a very surprised shopper. It was like something out of a slapstick movie. The best part, the guy who fell, he just started laughing. And then, everyone else did too. Proof that sometimes, laughter is the only sane response to life's little mishaps. Kids, they're tiny humans with zero filters and a knack for saying the most unexpected things at the most inopportune times. Like the time my niece pointed at a very pregnant lady and yelled, "Look, she ate a whole watermelon." Or the time my son asked me, very seriously, if the mailman delivered babies. Spoiler alert, he does not. Kids might drive us crazy sometimes, but they also remind us to find the humor in the everyday. Because let's face it, life would be pretty boring without their unfiltered observations. Grandparents and technology, now there's a recipe for comedy gold. My grandma once tried to FaceTime me while holding her phone upside down. We had a lovely conversation about the inside of her purse. And then there was the time she tried to Google something by yelling it at the TV remote. Bless her heart. These moments might be frustrating in the moment, but they always make for a good laugh later. Plus, they remind us to be patient and appreciate the older generation, even when they're battling with their smartphones. Section 6. Dinner with friends and a side of chaos. Dinner with friends is always an adventure, especially when you throw kids into the mix. The combination of good food, great company, and the unpredictable antics of children can turn any meal into a memorable event. It's a blend of laughter, chaos, and those little moments that make life so wonderfully unpredictable. One time, we were having a fancy dinner party, or as fancy as you can get with 3 kids under the age of 5 running around. The table was set with our best dishes, candles flickering softly, and the aroma of a delicious meal wafting through the air. It was the perfect setting for a sophisticated evening, or so we thought. Mid-conversation, my friend's toddler decided to show off his new magic trick. He had been practicing it all week and was eager to impress. With a flourish, he announced his trick, and then, with the seriousness of a seasoned magician. He proceeded to climb under the table, convinced he was invisible. The adults exchanged amused glances, trying to keep straight faces. We all knew the drill: play along and make the little magician feel like he had truly vanished from sight. We all had to pretend we couldn't see him, which, let's be honest, was harder than it sounds. The sight of a tiny pair of feet sticking out from under the tablecloth was both adorable and hilarious. We stifled our giggles and played along, making exaggerated comments about where he could have possibly gone. Cue the uncontrollable laughter and a chorus of, "He's right behind you." Good times. The room erupted in laughter, the kind that makes your sides ache and your eyes water. It was one of those moments that perfectly encapsulated the joy and unpredictability of having kids around. The magic trick may not have been perfect, but the laughter and memories it created were priceless. As the evening went on, the kids continued to entertain us with their antics. From impromptu dance performances to enthusiastic storytelling, they brought a unique energy to the gathering. We toasted to friendship, family, and the beautiful chaos that comes with it. The kids, of course, found new ways to keep us on our toes. One moment they were making funny faces with their food, the next they were engaged in a spirited game of hide and seek. It was a whirlwind of activity, but it was also a reminder of how precious these moments are. As the night drew to a close, we all pitched in to clean up. The kids, now tired from their adventures, were starting to wind down. We shared stories, reminisced about past dinners, and made plans for future gatherings. The mess was a small price to pay for an evening filled with laughter and love. Saying goodbye was bittersweet. We hugged, exchanged warm farewells, and promised to do it all again soon. As we left, we carried with us the memories of a night that was perfectly imperfect, a testament to the joy of sharing life's moments with friends and family. The house, once filled with laughter and chaos, was now quiet. The empty dinner table stood as a reminder of the evening's festivities. It was a beautiful mess, a sign of a night well spent, and as we turned off the lights and headed to bed, we couldn't help but smile, knowing that these are the moments that make life truly special. Section 7. Love and laughter in the laundry room. Love is folding laundry while your significant other tries to tell you a story. It's in these mundane moments that we often find the most joy and connection. The laundry room, with its hum of machines and the scent of fresh detergent, becomes a backdrop for some of the most genuine interactions, and simultaneously failing miserably at matching socks. You see, it's not just about the task at hand, but the shared experience. The mismatched socks become a symbol of our imperfections and the humor we find in them. At least that's what it looks like in my house. Our laundry room is often a chaotic mess, but it's also a place where we come together, share stories, and laugh at our own clumsiness. The other day, my husband was trying to explain something important to me while folding a fitted sheet. It was one of those moments where you realize that life doesn't always go as planned, but that's okay. Let's just say it did not end well for the fitted sheet, or his explanation. The fitted sheet, with its stubborn corners, seemed to have a mind of its own, and my husband's frustration was palpable. But it did end with us both on the floor, laughing so hard we cried. In that moment, the fitted sheet became a source of amusement rather than frustration. We were reminded that it's not the perfection of the task that matters, but the joy we find in doing it together. Because sometimes, love is finding humor in the chaos, even when it involves laundry. It's about embracing the imperfections and finding joy in the little things. The laundry room, with all its mess and clutter, becomes a place of connection and laughter. It's where we learn to let go of the need for perfection and simply enjoy each other's company. So, the next time you find yourself struggling with a fitted sheet or mismatched socks, remember that it's not about getting it right. It's about the shared moments, the laughter, and the love that makes it all worthwhile. Section 8. Finding humor in everyday life. Life is a roller coaster. There are ups, downs, and everything in between. But even on the bumpiest of rides, there's always something to laugh about. It might be a silly observation from a child, a hilarious mishap at the grocery store, or a technology fail of epic proportions. The key is to keep your eyes open, your heart light, and your sense of humor firmly intact. Because when you learn to laugh at life's little absurdities, you realize that even the toughest times are a little bit easier to handle. Section 9. Spread the laughter. So the next time you're feeling stressed or down, remember those moments that made you smile. Share a funny story with a friend, watch a hilarious movie, or just embrace the chaos of everyday life and let out a good hearty laugh. Trust me, your funny bone and your soul will thank you for it. Because laughter, it's contagious, and the world could always use a little more of that.